Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this workshop today. My name is Ankur Raina, and I am a senior solutions architect at MongoDB. With me is Rajat, who is also a solutions architect at MongoDB, and he will take you through the demo today. So, our topic is MongoDB Cloud Data Platform and how it is an answer to the growing data sprawl in your organization. So before we talk about it, let's talk about what sprawl means. So in English, sprawl means a large area covered with buildings which spreads in an ugly way. The data sprawl refers to the same sort of ugliness in the way that data is distributed or the data is spread across your organization in most of your enterprise systems. Our MongoDB CEO Dave Ittycheria discussed this in an interview with Forbes this year. So the developers are expected to work on a wide variety of technologies, data models, APIs, programming languages, and this can spread across a wide variety of systems that may be in the transactional, search, or analytics space. So to reflect upon this problem of data sprawl, our agenda for today is to give you a background of what MongoDB is and where we have come from, what we mean by the cloud data platform, and then I will take you through some of the real world stories where MongoDB has been used to address this problem of data sprawl. We will obviously not be able to cover everything, but I will try to showcase a few use cases in retail, payments, telecom, and IoT sectors of the market. So MongoDB was founded in 2007, and it was founded because of the frustration that the founders of MongoDB were having with the relational databases. So the first release came in 2009, and one of the questions that I get asked a lot is about our logo. It means simple and natural. The MongoDB word itself comes from humongous, which means big. MongoDB was the first company that went IPO in over 26 years in the database space in 2017. And we have more than 125 million downloads of the core server. Let's take a look at few references. Stack Overflow is a very popular site for developers, and they conduct this survey on an annual basis, where they found that MongoDB was the most wanted database for the fourth consecutive year. For a team in India, it was a proud feeling, and it was a form of validation when MongoDB was introduced in the Class 11 CBSE curriculum. MongoDB University, which is our learning portal, has more than 1.5 million registrations from all around the world. This probably explains the scale of MongoDB skills in the market. So to summarize, our adoption has been very tremendous, and we are very grateful for that for all the users and the entire community. Well, that was about the database. But MongoDB is not just a database company. Over the years, we have grown our product suite and evolved into a cloud data platform company. So why are customers selecting MongoDB? It is because they can serve any workload from cloud to edge with MongoDB. The document model is the first pillar, the document model and the MongoDB query language. They give the developers the fastest way to innovate in building transactional, operational, and analytical applications. The second pillar, MongoDB, the multi-cloud and global database. This gives developers the freedom to run their applications anywhere with the flexibility to move across the cloud providers as and when the requirements evolve and without having to change even a single line of code. The third pillar is MongoDB Data Platform, which expands MongoDB beyond the core database that developers already know. So they can seamlessly work with data wherever their applications and users need it. You may use that data at the edge of the network, or you may be using that data for creating rich search experiences, or you may be creating a data lake out of it. The document model is the fastest way to innovate. And let's take a look at why. In the relational model, the data is spread across dozens of tables. And adding another field in one of those tables can have a ripple effect to accommodate the rules of normalization. On the other hand, documents are intuitive. All the necessary data is placed together. So you do not need complex joins, and you also do not need to alter any schemas. Besides this, the documents are very intuitive and familiar to the developers. Thus, they increase the developer productivity. Documents are also flexible to adapt. Any changes that you want to make, you can directly make on those documents. The modern applications, they keep on iterating and adding more features. Say in this case, you have multiple phone numbers and locations. And the database facilitates those changes easily without making any major schema changes. So there is no downtime involved. MongoDB has official drivers in 14 languages, and there are more than 30 additional drivers that are maintained by the community. So you can work with MongoDB and you can utilize MongoDB with almost any sort of application. The very important part is that the documents are also universal, which means that they can handle a wide variety of use cases. The MongoDB query language itself can very well handle JSON documents. It can handle the data which used to be in the traditional tabular format. It can handle the key value type data or text searches or geospatial data or even graphs and events. In addition to all of this, MongoDB also supports transactions. Transactions in MongoDB feel just like transactions that developers are already familiar with. They can be multi-statement with similar syntax. For example, you start a transaction, you commit a transaction, and they also provide the snapshot isolation, which means that you have a globally consistent view of the data. And they enforce all or nothing execution to maintain the data integrity. What is really key to understand is that the changes to MongoDB that enable multi-document ACID transactions do not impact the performance for workloads that do not require them. So if your applications do not require transactions, your developers can expect MongoDB to behave in the same way as it used to behave before transactions. To summarize, the documents are universal, they are intuitive, and they are flexible, and they are powerful to serve any workload. Let's talk about the second pillar now, multi-cloud global database. MongoDB is the only true multi-cloud database in the market. This gives you both freedom and flexibility to run the database. You can install MongoDB on your laptop. You can install it on a mainframe server or on a small rack server. You can self-manage it in the cloud, or you can use it in MongoDB Atlas. It's the same code base, same APIs, same tools, wherever you run it. Let's talk about the challenges which come when people need to build a distributed application, and that too with a relational database, with a centralized relational database. So the relational databases were never designed as distributed systems. This actually creates big challenges for developers who now need to build workarounds around this vertically scaled design of the RDBMS. Scaling out itself is very difficult because when the database grows beyond a single server, the developers need to partition or shard the data. And they need to do this on the application level, which adds a significant developer complexity. Some vendors have implemented sharding frameworks that sit on the top of RDBMS. They can scale out a little, but then you are still constrained with trying to distribute multiple related tables, right? And you lose, and whichever way you look at this sharding approach on relational databases, you lose very important key capabilities like ACID transactions or joins and referential integrity. This means that the developers still need to write the code to now recreate this functionality. Earlier, you used relational databases because these functionalities were there. Now you are scaling out, losing these functionalities, and you have to recreate them on the application layer. The next part is around the availability. While most RDBMS now support replication to mirror the database, it still requires an external mechanism to do that. Think about Oracle RAC or DataGuard, for example. These are not native to the database, so they are almost always slow and complex. They can result into multi-minute failovers, and developers need to write a lot of exception handling code to handle these outages. So trying to tack on distributed systems functionality, it makes your life much, much harder. Let's talk about MongoDB replica sets instead of the relational way of scaling. How do we solve these challenges? So first native feature that MongoDB has in the world of distributed systems is replica sets. Replica sets ensure high availability, and they can handle all many types of failures. For example, if there is a network failure, or there is one of the nodes failed, or one data center failed, all such scenarios can be handled by the replica sets natively. They can also help in disaster recovery in order to address the RTO and RPO goals. They can also help in maintenance. You can perform upgrades or other maintenance operations with no application downtime. And the secondaries can also be used for other use cases. For example, we talked about failover. They can also be used for hot backups or rolling upgrades, or they can be used for data locality. For example, you want to serve the data from, you want your users to read the data from the MongoDB instance that is closer to them. So we have such use cases where customers keep dozens of copies of data, and you can see that the replica set can span from 2 nodes up to 50 nodes, which means you can have up to 50 copies of the same data set spread across the globe. It can also help in workload isolation if you want to run some of the analytics workload on a specific set of nodes. So you can also serve the global audiences with MongoDB. This is not possible to do in relational databases because you cannot scale out the database to this extent. So you will most likely have a centralized database which will give hundreds of milliseconds of latency to people, say, sitting in Australia. Next, the native capability and part of the distributed architecture of MongoDB comes from sharding, which means that the data can be spread across multiple shards. You can utilize multiple types of sharding to control how this data is distributed. This sometimes also helps in adhering to the geographical data sovereignty rules, such as GDPR. In fact, global sharding in MongoDB Atlas, it lets you place database instances capable of accepting the reads and writes in geographically distributed zones. And those zones can be made up of one or more cloud regions. So you can do this on AWS, GCP, or Azure. And it is all on demand, elastic, all fully managed by the Atlas service. Global sharding enables you to read and write your data locally. So it can help you in providing single digit millisecond latency for the distributed applications, and also grants you strong control on where the data lives. For example, if your data is originating from Europe and you want to adhere to the rules of GDPR, your shard in Europe will be the only shard that caters to that data. So to summarize this part, the second foundation of our cloud data platform is being multi-cloud and allowing the freedom and flexibility to run MongoDB anywhere. We have the broadest reach of the platform. So MongoDB Atlas itself, which is the database as a service, is in more than 70 regions across AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud, which means that it is actually the biggest database service around the world, which runs in so many regions. Then it is meant to be scalable, resilient, and for mission critical use cases. And it is also secure by default. So we adhere to a lot of these compliance rules, for example, PCI DSS, strict rules like that. And we have designed the entire cloud platform in a way that makes it more secure. But this was still all just about the database and Atlas. What actually makes it a data platform? The first thing that I want to talk about is the workload isolation. A great advantage of using the distributed systems architecture is the ability to bring analytics workloads right alongside your transactional workloads. So you can provide fresher insights over the vast data set that you have in the application. And you do not need to induce any complexity into it, like the data movement into a different analytic system. But in order to really unlock the value of workload isolation, you also need to have a query language that allows you to work with the data however you want it. You want to slice and dice the data in many different ways. So MongoDB query language comes into picture there. Availability of things like materialized views add a lot to this capability. The foundations of the data platform are where the data resides and how it is stored. So we have this core database, Atlas, data lake, and search as the options where your data resides. So this acts as the data foundation layer in our cloud data platform. All of this is accessed together through one API, our document model and MongoDB query language. So one data model and one query language ensures that you do not have to spend the time to integrate and glue these parts together. We believe that the document model is the best way to work with data, and we have been talking at length about why that is. We also believe that MongoDB query language is the easiest and the most intuitive way for developers to code. So having one query language to access all these different formats of data is incredibly powerful. And uh, let's reflect back upon the topic of data sprawl, where they've mentioned to the in the Forbes article on how different how the developers today are expected to work with wide range of technologies, wide range of programming languages. So having this one document model and one API all integrated gives a lot of power to the developers and makes them exceptionally more productive. On top of our data foundation layer and the document model, there are developer services. These services dramatically increase the developer productivity and they enable features that were never possible before. Now, consistent across all these data services, the document model and the MongoDB query language, you have a single API for all the workloads. This provides one way to interact with the services based on the price performance requirements of different use cases. But data does not just sit in the backend inside the cloud. We have also built a portfolio of developer services that sit on top of this foundation layer, on top of this foundation data layer. So we recognize that the customers need to expose data in unique ways to clients. So we enable various forms of API access, which is from REST to GraphQL. We have also created a novel way to to declaratively control the feed level access to underlying data. So you can ensure end user privacy. And we also acquired a mobile database company called Realm, which not only gives the customers best in class mobile database, but also edge to cloud synchronization, which is Realm Sync now. So it helps in the applications which are working on shaky connections. So you can think about the mobile applications which are being used in remote areas where the internet may not be that great. So this unified developer experience is what differentiates the MongoDB cloud platform. Now let's talk about these services one by one. First, Atlas Search. Search feature offers fine-grained text indexing to enable advanced search functionality without any additional management required. So you do not need to use an external search system with your database. We take out the entire hassle of managing the separate systems from you. You can still use the same MongoDB query language and still get benefited from the power of Lucene. Atlas Search also has rich features, including fuzzy search, the capability to support auto-completion, filters and facets, and even things like custom scoring. On top of this, you can still use the same MongoDB query language, and in addition, you can also use the MongoDB aggregation pipeline. Another great service on our platform is MongoDB Charts, which is the best way to visualize MongoDB data. With charts, it is fast to visualize the data. It is easy to get started and share the data. And charts is powerful to create engaging data experiences that drive actionable insights for internal and external users. The data can be visualized just in minutes, not hours. You do not have to take it anywhere else. And it can also be shared quickly and easily. It has powerful capabilities to create engaging data experiences for actionable insights for the right user in the right context. So you can create dashboards, or you can use the rich embedding SDK that we provide with MongoDB charts, and you can integrate these charts into your own applications. I talked about the integration a bit, and this is how it works. So these charts can be integrated into these charts are actually integrated into the MongoDB Cloud Data Platform. So you do not have to set up anything. And then in terms of sharing and collaboration, you can create your own dashboards, and those dashboards can have multiple charts, and you can embed those charts within your own applications. And for that, you also have the embedding SDK that can be used. This helps in creating these engaging data experiences, because now your mobile application do not have to recreate the chart. It can directly utilize this MongoDB chart within your own web or mobile application, and the data can also refresh in real time. In addition to charts, MongoDB Cloud Data Platform also gives you access to use your existing business intelligence tools. For example, if you are using Tableau or Power BI kind of tools, you can still use them with MongoDB directly using the business intelligence connector. The next part is MongoDB Atlas Data Lake. This allows you to quickly and easily query data in any format across the object storage buckets, currently S3, and Atlas clusters using the same MongoDB query language. So with Atlas Data Lake, you can realize the value of your data lake faster. You do not have to, again, you do not have to move the data anywhere. You can work with the complex data almost immediately in its native form. And with the fully managed serverless architecture, you have a control on the cost, and you also remove the operational burden of setting up all this. You can work with rich data easily and intuitively. using MongoDB query language. And you can have the data stored in all these different formats like JSON, BSON, CSV, TSV, Avro, or Parquet. And at the same time, you can also utilize the MongoDB aggregation framework on top of all this data. This MongoDB Atlas Data Lake is a serverless service, so you do not have to plan out any infrastructure early on. This also eliminates the cost and complexity of the data movement. You just have to give access to Atlas Data Lake to access your object storage bucket. And this is also easy to use with any of your existing favorite tools. So you can use the same MongoDB query language, same MongoDB drivers, or MongoDB Compass in order to access your data lake. This is also integrated with the entire cloud data platform. So you have the same billing and support access for data lake as well. The next important service on MongoDB Cloud Data Platform is MongoDB Realm. As I mentioned before, Realm was a mobile database company which we acquired and brought this together with our own backend as a service. And now this combined offering is called MongoDB Realm. So MongoDB Realm itself has two parts. One on the mobile part, where you have access to one of the most popular open source Realm database that sits on the mobile devices. And then you have access to Realm sync capabilities that allow it to sync data to the cloud. So this allows you to build the applications which need offline access. The Realm platform is more than just the mobile part. It also includes the serverless platform, the backend as a service platform. This platform includes the developer tools to enhance and improve the development process. And you can get your ideas to the market quickly. Some of the key features on this serverless platform include access to GraphQL, Realm rules, functions, and triggers. So to summarize, the third foundation pillar is the MongoDB data platform. This provides you a unified application experience for developers beyond the transactional use cases. The first part is the data foundation. We talked about that. The second part is the comprehensive and integrated developer service, which makes it easy for you to create things like functions and triggers and integrate those with your MongoDB database. And the third part is the uh, cloud to mobile and edge. So this was through our acquisition of Realm, where we have the best-in-class mobile database which can sync the data back to the cloud. Now, I talked a lot about our tech stack. Let me actually walk you through a few real-world stories now. The first one is the hot retail industry and how we are revolutionizing it. Let's take the case of retail sales receipts and their clients. The problem with traditional databases is that they are not able to present a unified view to the customers. So you have different databases for everything, resulting in the original problem that we talked about, the problem of data sprawl. Some data is in the mainframes, some is in the Oracle point of sale systems, some may be in the mobile or social spaces. So analytics in a single rigid warehouse are becoming less and less useful. So let's enter the world of MongoDB now. You have the same systems generating data utilizing Kafka. They sync to a MongoDB cluster, uh, and this cluster has all the capabilities inbuilt, things that I talked about: sharding and replication and workload isolation. So you have dedicated members inside this cluster which will be used for analytics, and dedicated members which will have a subset of that data. So you can enhance that data further with with things like loyalty, you can do the further enrichment of the data. You can so you have all these system of records which were sending the data. Along with that, now you are bringing in other data sources like loyalty information or supplier data or social data, and you are bringing all this data together in a centralized repository. That's called the that's in some cases called a single view, or in some cases called customer 360. So what you can do now is that this system now enables you to get access to use cases that were never possible before. So you can create things like loyalty systems or personalized marketing or campaign analytics or things like location based services. Now, I'm not talking about this architecture only. I'll show you that these things are actually being used in the e-commerce system space. So the example that I would like to talk about there is 7-Eleven. And many of you may have shopped at 7-Eleven, which is an iconic global brand built on the simple philosophy of customer conveniences, right? So they have an estimated revenue of around $12 billion and they have more than 66,000 stores in 18 countries. And they probably have access to more than 50 million customers in a day. With their evolving needs and the evolving customer expectations, it was very difficult to do that with the existing relational database systems. They were also unable to effectively leverage the cloud. With the flexibility of data model, the automated scalability of Atlas, and the expressive query language, the MongoDB query language, and all this security inbuilt, which is very important for the e-commerce space, because you have access to all this customer data, and any breach can cause significant both damage, both in terms of liability and in terms of the brand reputation as well. So future forward, they moved to MongoDB Atlas, and it helped them in increasing in decreasing the production release time by 67%, and they were able to complete even most of the complex queries in less than 900 milliseconds. So I'm talking about complex queries here, not just the ad hoc queries. Some of these may be analytics queries as well. And they were also able to replace their entire RDBMS footprint in the 7Now solution with our MongoDB serverless solution. So it's not just about the database, but also about MongoDB Realm that I talked about. So they have this real-time inventory management app, which was rewritten on top of Realm. And this application now runs in more than 8,500 stores, which have more than 20,000 POS devices, and they are now directly sync that data onto MongoDB Realm. So this saves precious minutes of 7-Eleven staff, who, when they reach in the morning to their stores, now can download that data in just few seconds rather than in minutes and hours that they had to do earlier. So the other hot industry of today is payments. In the traditional systems like payments and telecom, which are full with legacy mainframe systems and relational databases like Oracle, we take a different approach in offloading the app workloads. We start with a basic operational data store, which serves only some frequent reads. We then work with the customers like Barclays to upgrade these operational data stores into operational data lakes. You ask the difference. What's the difference between an operational data store and operational data lake? It's similar to when I talked about the customer 360 view, I talked about data enrichment. So now you have data coming from a wide variety of sources, and you are enriching that data in a centralized repository. Then we move to the writes. First, they are performed concurrently on both these systems, the relational systems and MongoDB as well. And eventually they are done first on MongoDB and then they are passed to the legacy systems. And finally, MongoDB serves as the system of record for a lot of these applications. Uh, Customers like Nets and Santander are using MongoDB as system of record in multitude of applications with deferred rights to the legacy only if they are still necessary. So in this space, let's talk about the Nets group. They process 8 billion transactions and they support more than 250 banks. They had done lots of mergers and acquisitions, and thus they had like wide variety of systems. The new ISO 20022 and PSD2 standards made transition to old systems near to impossible. Besides this, they wanted to introduce several value added services. So MongoDB had started at Nets Group as part of their fraud detection system. If you have heard about Featurespace, which is one of our partners in this space, they use MongoDB for enabling their fraud detection system. And Nets Group was using it initially. So there was no plan to implement more of MongoDB. But when they started prototyping with Oracle for the next gen platform, it did not work. So the joint approach between MongoDB and Nets helped them uh, build this next gen platform, and it went live in November 2019. The next industry that I want to talk about is telecom. It's the same case for telecom. You have lots of mainframe systems and lots of relational database footprint. So we start with offloading the reads first, have more enriched data, and then we eventually take over as the system of record. Companies like T-Mobile and Etisalat have already done that. Let's talk about Etisalat. So Etisalat is a multinational Emirati-based telecommunication service provider. At Etisalat, we replaced a 768 core Oracle Exadata system with a 15 shard MongoDB cluster deployed across 45 nodes. Reflecting back on the relational versus MongoDB data model, this CRM had 2,700 tables. Thus, adding every new column was an additional effort. MongoDB is natively a distributed system and thus can cater to high availability and scalability scenarios, and it can cater to spiky workloads. In fact, the query response time were reduced from 100 milliseconds to 4 milliseconds, and the release cycles improved by 3x. The next hot industry that I want to talk about is IoT. Let's take a look into the individual components. One, you want to handle the volume and scale of this data. This, whatever data management platform you use for IoT, it should be able to respond to the changes in data. For example, I talk to a lot of customers in the IoT space who have these sensors which send different kinds of information. If you have a sensor in an older model of the system, it sends a different kind of information versus a sensor in the newer model of the system, or if it is set for different use case. And at the same time, because now you have two problems here. One, the data model is very different across these sensors, and the other, you still want to utilize the same query language in order to access this data. And it should also be cheap to run it. You should be able to run it in the offline mode as well. Uh, there are uh, there are some of you may want to run analytics on top of these sensor data, right? So you need to put them across these different tier of systems. For example, you have this real-time storage and versus you have this object storage, which is a lower cost storage, and still be able to use the same query language in order to access both this data together. The processes that work against the collected data to unlock insights you still have to put them in place, and you want to you may have these machine learning jobs which need to run on top of on top of this data. And you may also want to intuitively visualize this data. You may want to create charts and graphs out of this data. And oftentimes, when you are in disconnected environments, for example, many of these sensors may be in oil rigs, or they may be in far places where the internet connectivity is not that great. So you will have a local machine which is collecting this data, and then you want to sync that data back to the centralized system at some point of time. So MongoDB has successful projects in all these verticals of IoT. Organizations like City of Chicago, Bosch, and John Deere have built their intelligent systems on top of MongoDB. So in this space, I will deep down into the use case of Toyota material handling. So Toyota Connected is a true transformative story in this space. As you know, that Toyota is recognized globally to build the most reliable cars, and they have been revolutionizing the manufacturing process space. Toyota realized that software is essential to win in the competitive market, and they wanted to become the leading high quality software company globally. Toyota Material Handling provides a platform to automate warehouses. Data from the trucks and forklifts is read from the sensors and stored in the central cloud based data store. The drivers get their applications, and there are capabilities to analyze and administrate the overall data. And there is a mobile application that provides the interactive interface for the entire presentation and analysis of that data. Now, I have talked about a lot of these things in my presentation. I talked about the MongoDB data model, MongoDB query language, the data foundation layer, all the services that are there. On top of that, we have a single unified API. And on top of that, there are developer services which enable you to address the problem of data sprawl, where you have to work, where you have to otherwise work with a wide variety of systems in order to cater to these challenges. Now, let's take a look at the demo on how MongoDB makes your developer's life easier with a unified data model, unified API to address all these transactional search and analytical use cases. And for that, I hand over to my colleague, Rajat.
Hello everyone, my name is Rajat. I'm solution architect in MongoDB. In this demo, we'll try to relate the same data sprawl issue and see how MongoDB Cloud Platform can help you handle these type of challenges. So as a part of demo, we'll take a very popular use case example of inventory tracking applications. So consider the stores like 7-Eleven, Big Bazaar, more, where there are number of stores in different cities, states, or across the countries. So to build such applications, there are two main components to that. A certain stack of stakeholders who sit in the back office and they track, okay, what's the inventory in the different stores. A second set of stakeholders who will be sitting in the individual stores. They can be a store manager who has access just to look at what they have in their stores. They will be connecting at the edge location with their applications. It can be a mobile app or it can be in their tablets through which they will go and access all these things. The important thing required in this application is the sync between all the locations. The data need to be synced from the back office and what's there in the edge locations. Now, if we have to build such type of applications, let's see what are the different technological stacks required. The very first and the most important is a centralized database store, where I can keep all the inventory data from the different stores in a one centralized location. And we need to remember this data should be scalable. We are talking about hundreds, or maybe it can be 1,000 stores that can scale as the business scales. Second component will require a certain set of web or app servers. I need to deploy my hosting applications, the back office application. I need a place where I can write my business logic. Third component will be a mobile app. via which at the edge location, the different inventory manager or the store manager will be accessing what's there in the inventory, as well as they need to sync with the centralized database. And the last component will be the analytics. I have a lot of data from the different inventories. I need to have the business value. So analytics is must for me. This is how the complete stack will look like. A centralized database through which the back office application will be connecting. Different edge devices will be getting sync bi-directional from the centralized database. And at the same time, I'll be doing the real-time analytics on my database. Now, if we have to deploy this architecture into the MongoDB cloud platform, let's see how we can do that. Let's start with the centralized database. When you log in into the MongoDB cloud platform, cloud.mongodb.com, you will get the option to create a new cluster. So when you click on the create new cluster, we provide the different cloud provider options, either AWS, GCP, or Azure. You can choose any of the cloud providers. We support 70 plus regions across the cloud providers. Based upon your data locality in the application deployment, you can choose that region. And another new feature which we recently added is a multi-cloud. Now you can have a true hybrid cloud. You can deploy a certain MongoDB cluster node in one cloud and certain nodes in the other cloud. The second option we provide is the different t-shirt size. Based on your workload requirement, there are different t-shirt size available from M30 to M700, where the different options for RAM and CPUs are available for you. You can select based upon the workload what best fit for you. In each t-shirts, we provide a very good features like auto scaling. Based upon the workload, you always want your cluster should scale up or down dynamically. So once you have selected these options, your cluster can scale up and down as per your need, as per the workload it comes. There are a lot of additional settings also, like what version you want to go. You want to enable point-in-time recovery for your database, or you want to horizontal scale your cluster, enable the BI connector, or manage the encryption key for the database. You can all select from here with just a few clicks. Once you have decided these options, you have to just go and create a cluster. Within a couple of minutes, your cluster will be up and running over here. This sounds good. This is an easy thing. But the operation people need more in-depth knowledge for running their applications. They need to understand what's happening inside the cluster. Atlas does expose hundreds of the matrices for you, where you can go inside and see what's happening in the cluster. How many connections I have, how many cache usage is happening, what's the page fault happening, is there any replication lag between my cluster? All you can see in these hundreds of matrices available. There are a lot of matrices which are exposed at the hardware level. If you want to see what my disk usage is, how my CPU is running, what's the IO state of my cluster, you can all see this hardware level. As well as at the DB level, if you want to select what's the DB stats, you can see all these things over here. Another exciting feature for the DBAs are if they want to go and see something in the real time, they have the real time stats option also, so that they can see if something is throttling in their system, they can go here and set it up. But your operational people never say 24 by 7 looking out these matrices. You need some proactive solution. So we do have an integration with the alerts. You can go and set up your own custom alerts over here. Send up the notification to the certain teams who they can proactively work if certain threshold is reached. The other component which operation people look for is the backup policy so that they can ensure they have a good business continuity plan. Atlas does provide a very flexible backup policy where you can define the type of snapshot you want based upon the retention and the point in time recovery which you want to have. You can all select from a single panel over here. This all sounds good. That makes the life of operational people good. Now, what about the developers? The first thing that developer needs when they interact with the database, they want to visualize the data. How many database they have? If they have the multiple collections, what the data look like? They want to run some test queries or aggregations, or they want to see some indexes. They can also do in a single panel. This is good. But the most exciting feature for the developer is when they start developing the applications, they may write some queries which are slow running. They want to see what are the slow running things in my system. How should I track them? Atlas thus provide a profiler option where they can see what are the slow running things in their applications, in their database. So in this example, I just click this button. It showed me, okay, this is the query, some query is running. This is running on this particular collection, which is taking 600 plus millisecond. This is bothering the developers. Now, with the profiler, they can see all the slow running operations in their database. They want to go for the details, what it is running, what's the explain plan for that. They can just go and click view more details. It will give you those details. Now, developers can concentrate what they need to work on priority to optimize their applications. But we didn't stop there. For them, we also provide for the developers a performance advisor, which runs in the backend. It see what is running slow in your database. It gives the advisory of its own. It can be an index suggestion, like in this example. It sees certain workloads were running on the grade application. If you create this index for this application, you'll have the improvement of approximate 50%. This is good. Along with index, if there is some schema suggestions out there, it gives those schema anti-patterns also for you. This is great. This makes developer life very easy. Last thing for the database I'll cover is the security. Security is the key foundation for us. All the clusters which are deployed in MongoDB Cloud, they are secured by default. You can define your own firewall, which particular set of users or IPs should be able to access that cluster. You can do the peering with your application server with the respected cloud vendors, either AWS, GCP, or Azure, as well as we provide some advanced security features like integration with the LDAP, managing with the Key Vault with their key management solutions, or even enabling the database audit, and many more. There are a lot of things to cover in Atlas DPaaS services. For the sake of demo, I'll just stop over here. So now I'm happy deploying my centralized database on a MongoDB platform, 10 out of 10. What was the next component? I need a place where I can host my applications. I can write my business logic. Another foundation services in Atlas MongoDB Cloud Platform is the Realm. The Realm provide you a backend as a service where one of the feature is hosting the applications. So you can host your entire application over here. Like in this example, I've hosted my entire HTML application over here. All the dependencies, all the packages which I need, I all defined over here. As well as I need to write some business logic. I need to create some functions and triggers. I can go into the same Realm platform. I can write my own multiple functions. If I want to write certain triggers, these triggers can be a database triggers, or it can be a schedule triggers, or it can be authentication based triggers. All triggers can be written over here in this platform based upon the customized need you needed for your application. Also, there is an integration with the third-party services. Like I want to integrate with some webhooks. So you can integrate with the HTTP service which provide you the webhooks, or some AWS services, or a Twilio, or messaging services you want to integrate. All these things can be integrated with the third-party services over here. Now, I'm happy with deploying my back office applications and writing my business code over here. What next I need? I need a mobile app to be developed. MongoDB acquired a very popular mobile database called RealmDB last year. This is one of the most popular object-oriented database for developing the mobile applications. This sounds good. You can develop a mobile application on the RealmDB. But what excites a mobile developer is, how should I sync my data? That's a real pain for them. If I need to sync my edge location to the mobile backend cluster, how should I do? How should I write my logic? How the conflict resolution will happen? How I'll manage the bidirectional syncs? This is the pain for the developers. So the Realm platform provides you out of the box the sync capability, where you can sync the data from your edge location to the backend cluster, backend Atlas cluster. You have to just go and define based upon what partition key you want to sync the data from the edge to the cloud, to the Atlas cluster in the backend. In this case, I use the partition ID, which is my store ID. So now my data will get synced bidirectionally from my edge into my backend cluster. You can also define the schema, which will be the single source of truth for you, what data need to be synced from the edge to the cluster and the vice versa. This sounds good. No pain for the DBA, no pain for the developers to write the logic and handle all these things. Another important key feature which are missing is the authentication. How I'll control the authentication for my application. The mobile edge locations, the different stakeholders, the different store owners will be logging to the applications. So Realm provides you the different authentication provider integration. It can be a simple email password, Facebook, Google, or the different which are mentioned over here. You can integrate with any of these. In my example, I integrated with the email provider. I enabled this authentication. I created a certain set of users, demo user 1, demo user 2, and I defined the password for them. So whenever I have to connect to the mobile edge location, I can use any of these users. They will have the respective access to the different stores and they can work on that. This sounds good. Now, the last part I have to do is doing the analytics. In the same cloud platform, MongoDB cloud platform, the third component we have is the charts. In the charts, you can go and define your own dashboards. You can create the different multiple dashboards. You can share these dashboards, like this is one of the dashboard I have created. You can go and define these chart dashboards. You can create the different type of charts options are available, from tabular to donut chart to heat map. So whatever chart you need, you can create over here. You can create a dashboard out of these. These dashboard can be shared with the business application. Other exciting things is you can go and embed these charts into your application. It can be either as an iframe or it can be as a Java SDK. This sounds interesting. So now, if I look, I have all the components deployed into a single MongoDB cloud platform. I don't have to integrate or write any ETL or integrate with the third-party services or pay some extra to manage all this application. Everything is available into a single MongoDB cloud platform. Now let's see all these things in a real running mode. Let me open my application. This is my back office applications. I have a simulator running over here, an Android simulator. So here you can see in this back office applications, here in all the data which I have from the different store, it get refreshed over here. Here you can see I have a 2 store, 101 and 102. If somebody has to analyze the data from just one office, they can go and select the particular store ID. They selected 101, I get the data for 101 store. I have the 4 items over here. Let me go as store owners. I am a store owner 1, demos user @gmail.com. I write my password and I log into the store which I am the owner. Error occurred. Something wrong with my username and the password. So you see the authentication is working correct. It was a demo users. Let me rewrite my password also. Yeah. So now you see that whatever there is in the backend office, the same thing is there in my edge location also. So suppose in the morning, the store inventory manager went over there. He added a new product. Let me add another product. I add the product name as product 111. I added the quantity as 111 and I did the same price. I create this quantity over here. Now you can see in the edge location in the store 101 which I log in, I have 5 set of products. This is the new product which I recently added. Product 101, this is the quantity and this is the price. Let me go back into my backend office and refresh my data. Yes, now you can see the data gets synced into the backend office also from the edge into the direction. Now what if I want to update my data from the back office? Like suppose I select this product. In this product ABCD, I see the price is $9.99. It's too high. Let's put some sale on that. I make the price as $5.99. I go and update this data. So what's the product? Product name was product ABC. Product name ABC. Now see the product price become $5.99. And if I see the data over here also, the product ABC price become $5.99. So everything is happening in the real time and that too bi-directional for you. This is interesting. The other part we talked about was the people sitting in the analytics. They want in my backend office itself, I should have some embedded charts so that I can visualize what's happening in the store, what's the inventory says. Here we can have in this application I have added the charts also. So I click on the charts option over here, corresponding to 101, you can see the charts get populated over here. So this is the embedded chart options coming over here. So I have five different set of the products over here. So in the charts, I can see the 5 different set of the products I have, what's the inventory for them. If I want to see what's the inventory value for them, I can see those charts also. So these charts I have created in the MongoDB platform. Here I just embedded those charts. So I think that concludes my demo. There are a lot of things in the MongoDB platform, cloud platform. Because of the time limit, I cover this part only for now. But later part, there will be another use case where we want to archive the data also. Over the time period, I don't want to keep the data for the stores full and number of those things. So in the Atlas cloud platform, MongoDB cloud platform, we do provide the archiving feature also, where you can tier the data as a hot and cold. So as a part of the demo, I'll conclude over here. Thank you everyone for watching this demo. Thank you.